PA consulting. This is kind of good example of the problems raised during the morning sessions, so the private sector is not involved enough, so we start from here. And I'm trying to moderate the discussion about Estonia-Latvian program, and we discuss also both sides, what has been done, how it was going, what we have to, what is good to continue, what to benchmark, and another side again, what will the future begin, what will the future bring to us. So for the start, Priidu, I turn to you as probably the most informed person from the Estonian side, at least, about the programming process, what stages we face at the moment, what the future brings to us, and how much can we say at the moment about the general framework and the priorities. Okay.
Thank you. Let me first of all thank all of the participants and previous presenters of good ideas and quite interesting presentations. Coming to the question, well, we should think back to the presentation that Regina Huber in the morning told about, that the phase is at the moment so that of course the European Commission has proposed a new legislative framework. It is currently being discussed quite heavily also among member states. If you look on the discussions, then I would say that those parts of the legislative framework that concern specifically European territorial cooperation programs have not been discussed thoroughly yet. So it is just now those articles of the draft regulations are being discussed. So there is still quite a lot of uncertainty or agreements to be achieved in the wider framework. In parallel, like you all might know, in both countries, in Estonia and Latvia, national authorities are preparing some strategies for the next financing period. And why it is important is that one big, I would say, quite important requirement for the next period is that also these cross-border cooperation programs should fit into the overall development strategy of both member states. So it is in a phase where also those larger development strategies are not yet in place. So we are in the middle of a period that is, I would describe, uncertainty at the moment. Regardless of that, of course, we can already now discuss about the content and possible joint activities for the next period to be financed. We cannot discuss so much about various administrative details or technical specificities yet, but this will follow. Meanwhile, those legal acts are not the only framework. The whole programming exercise is very much a negotiation, explanations between member states and European Commission to find out the most suitable way of activities. And for that purposes, of course, the Commission has proposed some Europe-wide thematic priorities for cross-border cooperation programs, and most likely more specific positions will follow when the actual negotiations on the national development strategies will start in coming months. This is the overall background. What we have done so far together with the Latvian Ministry of Environment Protection and Regional Development and my ministry is that I guess it was in the beginning of this year, or was it at the very end of last year, when we first time gathered and then started to discuss how to prepare for the next programming period. What we have done so far is that we have jointly established a joint programming committee that consists of representatives of both countries from the ministerial level and also from the regional level. this committee has gathered and discussed the overall process. We have some sort of time schedule. We have discussed preliminary the wider priority areas, and then we have agreed upon to go into detail in 4 areas. First of all, education, then was it the transport, then business development, and then environment or energy related issues. So these are the 4 topics that we will look into more detail to find out possible joint interests, common problems to be tackled. And then the first, I would say, focus group discussion concerning the educational sector has taken place already, and then the others will most likely follow now in the autumn. So in that process, we are just in the phase of gathering ideas, identifying problems that could be the basis for the strategy of the next period, Estonia-Latvian cooperation.
Thank you, Priidu. I didn't introduce him, but you found it already in your process probably. Priidu is the head of development department of the Ministry of Interior. And it was information from the state side, but we have here in the panel also different levels represented. We have regions, planning regions, and we have local level. So we'll have wide open discussion what are the priorities on the different levels. So let's just name our participants here, because we have also a little change here. On my right hand, she is representing Riga planning region, Liesma Greenberga. You met her already during the previous session. Then we have Laila Gertšane, head of development department of Vidzeme planning region. Mrs. Ingrid Tilts, Tallinn University Kuressaare College, and Mr. Rainer Kutma, Valga County Vocational Training Center, Head of Development Department, and also Kristjan Skodinš, you have met already, representing Kuursaare Planning Region. So many experts having a lot of practical experience and also good input for the future. So as we heard, nothing is fixed yet. We have many of opportunities to give our input, and question to all you, and what are the main expectations for the next programming period starting from 2014, meaning the program Estonia-Latvian cooperation? Would you like to start?
That's interesting. It's actually possible to answer to your question with one word, development. But speaking more detailed, as I already mentioned, that we expect, Riga Planning Region expect more focused activities related to business support and business activities, because, as I said, if there is no businesses, no working places, no incomes to inhabitants, there is no inhabitants at all, and therefore all other activities are not necessary. And one suggestion was already mentioned by me in a previous session, and the other, speaking about the program level, could be, we are expecting that program as such should be a little bit more focused, and especially for such activities as innovation and SME support, that they are tied to national and regional priorities of economy. So it means if we have a priority tourism sector, that activities could be more related to tourism sector, not, for instance, for wood producing or something like that. So all supporting activities could be more focused on business branches, which are mentioned in our development documents, national level documents, regional development documents, and in some cases maybe some special local development documents.
Yeah.
Well, I have been involved in project management at local level, at regional level, and also at strategic planning at local level and regional level. And when I started thinking about the future of this program, I started thinking it from the point of local and regional perspective. Regional in Estonia is more or less a county or some counties. That is not a very big area, actually. And I finished the thinking for myself with two keywords, and the keyword of the keywords is people. As it has been told here today already, that in Estonia at least we have several regions where one of the most difficult and most important, most crucial tasks in the near future is to retain the population. And to retain the population, of course, business development and whatever other kind of development is necessary. If we speak about competitiveness of an area, that is the main idea of this program and also other programs, then competitiveness is the quality of people, the quality of life of people. And if we speak about business development, what is extremely important is innovation. But innovation is not science. It is not the results of researches or new discoveries. Innovation is putting the existing new knowledge and new technologies into existence as soon as possible, and that cannot be done by any institutions. It is only people that can do it. So it means that it's not good to say quality of people, but still the quality of people has to be increased in places. So it may be lifelong learning, it may be whatever way we have to do it. And the second word for me is flexibility. The flexibility in what we are doing and the way we are doing. It means that also inside one program there should be certain flexibility. It was also mentioned here today that smaller organizations, NGOs, they are not very capable of applying for funds, although they may have very good ideas. And these people-to-people projects have to be survived, so to say, because they are very, very important for local people. These are my ideas. Pass over.
Yes. First of all, I would like thank the program and people behind the program about the possibility to increase and establish new or increase existing cooperation links between Estonia and Latvia. This program really helps, I think, not just for Kurzeme region, but for all the regions in Latvia and territory in Estonia as well. Regarding to future, we really looking on future regarding to this program as one of our priorities program, and therefore we have quite significant proposals how to improve existing system and approach for program implementation. And one of them, today I heard quite many very nice and good presentations regarding to, first of all, that we need some focusing and strategical approach for projects. And it could be like strategical projects which will be discussed in, first of all, at national level, between state institutions, regional institutions, and local institutions. We already are starting our work with communication with local municipalities, NGOs, entrepreneurs. In next 2 weeks, we will get the message from all those players about their interests and expectations for further next programming period in different programs and as well in Estonia-Latvia program. And we will be ready to come with our ideas, which will be, this will be bottom-up approach, and I think we need to save this approach, and therefore I would like to thank as well this program, that this program is more open for bottom-up approach. They are more open for regional and local ideas, and this is some little bit difference if we compare with typical structural funds, and let's keep this. Other issue regarding to those strategical projects, it somehow will help to save our resources, project applicants' resources, writing the project applications and so on, because it will be like, could be like district, like not open call approach. Let's find a solution between countries. What are our top priorities? At the same time, keeping some open call possibilities for priorities, which could be like, according to the European Commission, some points regarding to top priorities for cross-border cooperation issues. And of course, we need to save some finances and opportunities for community projects, for people to people. The possibility to divide, I would say, all the finances for the program is in three parts. First, one part for strategical projects, large-scale projects with significant input on regional development issues. Other with projects with some significant input as well, but probably not only regional or national scale. It could be a little bit smaller scale, but still with some strong influence on state and regional development issues. And third part could be like those project people-to-people projects. With totally agree with last presentations. Maximum four pages, very simplified procedures, and helping to them to come and participate in the applications, in competitions, and with applications and implementing the projects, even though if they don't have 5-10 years experience on project preparation and implementation. This is really important that we still keep this opportunity. And other issue regarding the program, how we see from Kurzem region perspective, I think that we need to put some two directions. First direction, cooperation between really cross-border territories like Kurzem region, South Estonia part, finding their common interests, common projects, and other direction could be cooperation between, let's say, sea-coast territory like Kurzem region, Riga region, Saaremaa, Pärnu County, sea-coast territory and municipalities, because we see from this period that we have more common interests and more common ideas for further projects. And this division for Estonia-Latvia program will help to ensure that there will be active participation from different regions and different territories. Because at the moment, there's of course win-win situation for very cross-border territories, not for those where is needed to find some common links, common activities between. Even though that we have 2 or 3 or 4 or 500 kilometers between us. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I come from a special place, and I don't think there is any other place in the whole universe where there is more Estonian-Latvian cooperation than in Valga and Valka. Well, what we are doing right now is that, my school, so we take pupils, students from Valka, and from this September, so the third week running, so there are 24 Latvian students going to school in Valga County Vocational Training Center. So there are 15 youngsters after basic school, after 9 years of studies, in cooperation with the Valka Gymnasium, studying at us their profession and getting secondary education in Valka Gymnasium, so that in 3.5 years they will get Estonian professional education certificate and Latvian secondary education certificate. So this is an example of cooperation that we have right now. Furthermore, there is also another group of Latvian students studying in English freight forwarding, and in a year and a half they will get also their certificate of professional education. Okay, thank you. Well, about this Estonia-Latvia program, I would mention one more thing. So when we started this programming period in 2007, it was practically, this Estonia-Latvia program mainly working with Estonian-Latvian territorial cooperation. So now I'm happy to say that there are more actors. In 2010, Estonia-Latvia Future Cooperation Report was ready. So it was what the Prime Ministers ordered it. And every year after that, there has been a conference on the Estonia-Latvia level about the cooperation between the countries. That's right, we are talking mainly about border areas in our program. They are talking more generally, but there are very many things that coincide. So we are not alone anymore. So this is one thing where I can see cooperation possibilities and even other forces to come into the picture. Well, about the future period coming, I think, two things should be in focus for sure. The first thing is education. It's not only general education or vocational education, it's also higher education, and also one more thing, it's knowing the neighbor's national language. We are not so very good in that. We can cooperate in a third language, but we cannot get direct information from the other country's media, for example. The other issue is communication in border areas. Of course, this program doesn't have capacity to construct more roads. Well, there was one beautiful road ready, completed. That's very good. But also, we cannot talk about train traffic between Tallinn and Riga, starting it in the framework of this program. But there are still things that we can do. For example, in border areas, it's a problem to learn about traffic or public transport possibilities on the other side. Perhaps this information, work with information about communication, this could be done in the next period. So, thank you.
Thank you. I am from Vidzeme planning region myself, and I think this period and this program has been like an exercise for us, and now we can evaluate how successful was the program. And of course there are a lot of influences and a lot of good things done during those years. But looking a little bit ahead on the next programming period, I think the we have already discussed today, also previous speakers, that the main challenge for people living nearby the border, it is social and economic desertization. It's mean that people are leaving the territory. It is aging of population. It is less developed social and entrepreneurship activities. And at least in Vidzeme, we think that the first attention should be paid on the particular activities on the border, around the border, nearby the border, and change people's life, not to be punished to live there, but turn it into the benefits that people living on the border benefit. I think it should be the main issue and the main challenge. Looking at the program, how it looks in Latvia, I should say that the majority of the funding we have spent in the capital of Latvia, and only smallest part in regions like in Kurzeme region and Vidzeme region. I don't think that it is the best how the program should go on in next programming period. I think that the most attention should be paid on the people, particularly living on the border.
Well, thank you very much for these interesting opinions, and we have got a lot of good ideas during this panel session previously, and I have spoken to a lot of people during the breaks. Some of them will not speak here, some of them write the ideas down and send to key persons, but if you would like to underline one or maybe two best practices, what should be continued, and maybe something what should be changed or applied differently in the next programming period, and keeping in mind 2, 3, or even 4 sides of the coin of the program. So the content, the unbreakable bureaucracy, applying process, what could be the key issues you would like to point out quite shortly, because we don't have much time left?
What I would like suggest to keep, that is 50% advance funding on the base of results of the real results of the previous period. It was really a nice opportunity to submit a request of 50% from all the spent money before approved reports by First Level Control and JTS. It really makes more stable cash flows of the partners and makes more successful implementation process. That is what was really strange in that program, and maybe should be responsible persons should think about it. That was signing of partnership agreements before signing of a grant contract. Actually, it was really strange, and I'm still thinking that it's really strange, because partners are making their agreement and their wish to participate in the project in the moment when project application form is submitted. So what is the reason to sign a formal partnership agreement before grant contract is signed? Because in that case, the partnership agreement was very, very formal document, and it doesn't work as an instrument between partners in a daily life. And one more, it would be nice to think about possible pre-financing in a project starting period, because when project starts, in most cases it takes time from a submitting of application form and the final approval. So sometimes it's really difficult to start a project exactly on that day. It takes time to rearrange finances and cash flows and so on. And sometimes it really makes problems to start the program in a time and to implement first activities in time. And it of course makes the risks for the next periods of the project implementation. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Yes, for me it's maybe difficult to say what has worked very well and then should be continued, or what is not working so well. It would be something like giving evaluation for the work that somehow I'm also partly responsible for. But yes, I guess that the pre-financing or advance payments is the issue that most likely would affect heavily project partners if there would be some different solution to the current program. And I'm quite sure that if we will find the technical way and if we have the goodwill, there will be a solution possible. It might be a bit difficult, more difficult than in mainstream or in large structural funds programs, but still it is possible. But if I could just point out something, then I would say that maybe it's premature to say, but I hope that this strategic or large-scale projects, it is a tool that we could use also for the next programming period, and maybe also in the very beginning of the programming phase already. While we discuss about the content of the program, we could already now discuss what might be the larger, more influential projects that we should implement definitely within a 7-year period in this region with the help of this program. Partly also because most likely it might be possible that the program will be larger in financial terms, then of course we have to bear in mind also that we have ready investments that would use those funds so that the program will not lose any funds because of certain implementation rules. What I've been thinking today, listening to the presentation, I would argue that maybe another thing that very much would influence project partners besides advance payments or pre-financing is the application procedure. If you look on the figures that so many applications have been developed and so few of them receive funding, I think this is a thing that we should look in detail and have some solution. Maybe there are some calls that are just on an idea basis, or there are different solutions possible, but we have to do something differently there. Otherwise, we just lose time and resources, and we generate so much stress at the project level.
I think that what we have to carry on is these nice cooperation contacts that have been established during this period, because this is also the essence of the whole thing. What should be kept as low as possible is bureaucracy, and really it is necessary to revise if all the papers are really needed. And one thing that I noticed during the presentations today is that these NGO projects, there were very, very many of them. They took 10% of the money, that is more or less 3.5 million of 35 million. And then there is one infrastructure project that takes 4.2 million, that is much more than 10%. That is a bit weird.
About good things and what we would like to keep on next programming period. First of all, bottom approach at national level, at program level. Next, I think the first experience on strategical project approach. I believe it will be really there will be really good results, and I really hope that on next programming period such an approach will be on place for some part of the finances for the program. Next, I think that we need to keep the flexibility of the program to all the time to follow up the implementation process. And if we see that there is need some improvements or some changes on guidelines or application form or etc., that we are ready to change something, because there was good words about let's keep as less bureaucracy as it's possible at nowadays, because usually it's quite hard. About the things what we would like to see a little bit different. First of all, I think that exactly we need to evaluate, do we need all the time have open call project approach, because as we see, especially Estonia-Latvia Russia program, that there just 10% of all project application was approved, and this is extremely hard for those who are writing the projects, and hard for those who are evaluating the projects, for both sides. And I think that we need to solve this issue. Next, I think it's not just about Estonia-Latvia program. It's the topic regarding to all cooperation programs. Speed up evaluation of progress reports, because it's really affects how fast the project partners get refunds and get money back, and it's really a question about the money. And usually it takes quite long time, and then if we this is the problem for all programs. It's not just Estonia-Latvia case. Probably Estonia-Latvia case could be a little bit better than other programs. And pre-financing, advance payment could be somehow a solution for NGOs, for smaller